So watch the screen nearest to you and finish dinner. And please watch the video. And after the video, we're going to have our live auction. Project Grace Guild for about a year now. I joined this lovely group of women, hoping to make a difference. And tonight is my night to have that chance. My son Hunter was born with congenital diaphragmatic hernia, which means that a portion of his diaphragm did not form while he was in utero, causing his stomach, intestines, and part of his liver to develop in his chest, not allowing his left lung to develop, and making his heart shift to the right. The moment he was delivered, he was whisked away. He was whisked away. I'm sorry, I'm listening to him. He was whisked away and put onto a respirator. I wasn't able to see him, hold him, or even hear his first cries. The doctors approached my husband and I with the horrid possibility that he may not make it, giving him a 10% chance at survival. They informed us that he would require the use of an ECMO machine, which is a heart and lung bypass machine. They told us that the use of this machine was extremely expensive, costing about $500,000 a week. And even using this machine, he still may not make it because of the lack of his lung tissue. We said, do it. As they inserted the tubes into his jugular vein, my husband and I waited with bated breath, knowing the entire time that we could lose him during this surgery. He didn't die. He made it. For 10 days, Hunter had a crew of doctors and nurses focusing solely on his needs, the machine information, the oxygen levels, and often reminding Aaron and I that we needed to go and get something to eat. After 10 days, they removed Hunter from the ECMO machine and placed him on a series of different respirators in the hope that he would be able to oxygenate his own blood, letting us know that if he couldn't, we would have to let him go. I think at that time my heart stopped. I remember wondering that this had to be a dream, that it could not possibly be real. And I don't think I took another breath until I looked up at the machines and I saw that the oxygen levels were even. At that time I knew miracles could actually happen. Hunter's next surgery required cutting his abdominal wall, reconstructing his diaphragm with a neoprene patch, and placing his abdominal organs back into his abdomen. Once again, we were told that we may lose him. And let me remind you, I had still never held my son. After he made it through once again, he was restabilized on respirators, and Aaron and I were allowed to hold the child that we deemed stronger in spirit than both of us could ever possibly be. After 45 days in the NICU, we were finally able to take him home. He had a feeding tube and a laundry list of medications, but we were all home. Unfortunately, this only lasted a month. It turned out that the scar tissue from his previous surgery was blocking the flow of digestion in his intestines and not letting anything pass through. Again, he would have to have surgery. His intestines had to be taken out completely, scraped clean, and replaced. It would be several weeks until we could go home again. All in all, Hunter has had over 15 different surgeries, several feeding tubes, 6 months of IV antibiotics, several different x-rays, MRIs, tons of different stays at Children's Hospital with continued follow-up visits to his very much loved army of doctors and nurses, and weekly physical and feeding therapy sessions. Every time they say he cannot or will not do something, he does it. He's a tough little man. Sorry. I remember several times sitting next to Hunter's hospital bed, ready to sell my soul, praying for his life and wondering if he would make it through the next day. As bad as that was, I couldn't imagine how I would have felt if I had financial issues looming over me. Aaron and I never once had to consider mortgaging a house or selling off assets. At last count, Hunter's medical bills had reached $6 million. My husband and I are blessed with absolutely amazing insurance coverage, and I truly believe that if we didn't have it, Hunter wouldn't be here today. The insurance coverage made it possible for the hospitals to do what they had to do to keep him alive. I'm here tonight to remind you that there are so many children in the hospital today that are not as lucky as Hunter. The families have limited or no insurance coverage. Every day they're faced with the reality of possibly losing their child. Not losing their child to an illness that can't be fought, but losing them because they don't have the financial capability or the insurance to fight the fight. You want to bring him up, baby? This is Hunter. He's doing absolutely amazing these days. But I also wanted to tell you, I know that economic times are tough right now. But tonight I don't want you to think about what you're giving up. I want you to think about what you're giving. By contributing tonight, you can provide a financial light at the end of the tunnel, a sense of peace, and help restore hope in several unexpected families. You can even have a hand in sending them home with their little miracle. Please remember tonight to open your hearts and your wallets and have a great time doing it, knowing it's for an amazing cause. Thank you for your time and have a great night. Thanks.